How are you doing, folks? This is my off-the-cuff first impressions of the Final Fantasy 15 Uncovered event that was yesterday at the time I'm recording this. And I actually made an impression video right after the event, but that didn't really turn out very well because I was just so hyped up from that event, and my heart rate was so fast that I was talking too fast and I was running out of breath, and I was kind of all over the place, and it would have been kind of hard to edit into a nice video to listen to. So I'm going to try this again today, a day after the fact, so I have a little distance from it. So anyway, probably just going to run through some of the announcements that were made there and what my initial thoughts on them are. So let's see. The show was great, by the way, though. Really good at hyping up the game, and the footage that they showed looked really good, and it was perfect for showing off the game and getting me excited about that. And also, Greg Miller and Tim Geddes were fantastic hosts for this event. Their enthusiasm and everyone's enthusiasm for this game was infectious. They were just super excited about it and super into it, and I couldn't help but get excited about it as well. You know, just get carried away with them. But they were super lively and energetic about that. And that's great for marketing the product. They look confident, and that's good marketing, I guess. It looks like they know what they're doing. That gives me some confidence, more confidence in them, in the development team. So let's go through some of the announcements. Stand By Me cover by Florence and the Machine. I am not familiar with Florence and the Machine. I've never heard of them. I don't think so. They don't sound familiar, but their song sounds really great. You know, it has the Final Fantasy theme in the background, and just a really, really nice cover. Sounds great for the game. I'll probably have to go look into Florence and the Machine after I record this to see if any of their songs are actually things that I know, and I just am not thinking of them right away. But that was awesome. I enjoyed that a lot. Sometimes, every once in a while, I just kind of lose it when I see like a trailer or a movie moment, and I'm just like, my heart's beating super fast, and I start to fidget and I get goosebumps sometimes. Can't sit still because I'm just so excited and entertained at what I'm seeing. And at the beginning of this show, and actually the entire show pretty much, every trailer they showed, every announcement they were making, I was just like hyped to the max. And Greg Miller and Tim Geddes, they contributed a lot to that, and just the hosts, all of them, and the developers and the voice actors that were on stage. They were a really good stage presence as well for hyping this project up, and it worked. It certainly got me excited because before the event, I really was kind of indifferent about the game. It's been a while since we've gotten anything of substance, of game information, and basically the stuff that they revealed here is the stuff that I needed to see in order to get excited about that, including the release date, which I'm going to get to in a moment. I guess just like a little criticism of the show is like, there was kind of this running gag that like Tim was a Final Fantasy fanboy, and Greg wasn't really understanding his like jokes and the things he was getting excited about, which that got kind of old because it's sort of like showing the worst qualities of any fandom. Anyway, I think that Greg he had some good jokes. Greg and Tim had some good jokes in the show, keeping a light mood to kind of smooth out the hype as well, and that kept my engagement and entertainment high throughout the whole hour-long show. I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes or something. It was longer than I thought it was going to be. But anyway, they also created a bunch of products that are going to be launched before the release of Final Fantasy 15. And when they were showing the trailers and when they were announcing these products like the anime and the film and that mobile game, I was so hyped. They announced it with such enthusiasm, and they built it up well, that, I just was so hyped, and I was really excited when they were announcing those things. Now that I've had a little bit of time to distance myself from that initial excitement, which it's fun to get. It's fun to get excited like that and not need to feel that I should be reserved about my excitement. My concern is that these products better not be like half-baked, just kind of Final Fantasy 15 schlocky merchandise that they're just throwing out there just for the purpose of marketing this game. I don't want these things that are coming out to be just commercials for the main game. And these things, I really am hoping that they're worth being made and they're worthwhile pieces of entertainment. And also, with this film and the animes, that's creating more continuity for the game. That's more material in the Final Fantasy storyline and universe. And I'm also hoping that they're kind of integrated together. Like, I don't know if Nyx, the main character for the Kingsglaive movie, is going to be in the actual Final Fantasy 15 game, but I think that he should, or else then it just looks kind of like, they're creating, well, I guess it's a lack of unity, in the Final Fantasy 15 universe, or I guess it's not really universe, but just the continuity that they're making. So I'm hoping that there will be Nyx in the game, and he doesn't have to be important or whatever. Like, even if he just is like an NPC or something that has a couple lines, that would be satisfying, and tie the Kingsglaive and the main game together nicely. And also they announced the voice actors, some of the voice actors for the Kingsglaive movie, and I also saw an article just a couple of minutes ago, I don't know when it came out, but it was saying that voice actors for the Kingsglaive movie, well, at least for there's Sean Bean, who is King Regis, and then two other actors that are playing Nyx and Luna, and they're different than the English voice actors for the main Final Fantasy 15 game, which I kind of have a problem with that. That's just discrepancies in this universe, and it makes the Final Fantasy 15 universe less cohesive, and it doesn't tie the Kingsglaive movie and the game together as well. Like, if they used the voices from the game in that movie, then that would basically make it look more like an extension of the game, instead of like, they're just using big name actors to basically market the movie and market the game, which I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that Kingsglaive is a good movie, and it turns out well. The people who are working on it, they seem excited about it, and they seem into it, but they're not going to say the movie sucks, They wouldn't do that, or else Square wouldn't have them on stage if that was their attitude towards it. But basically, it needs to be, I'm hoping that it's good, and a worthwhile story, instead of just like a commercial, which it could easily be. And then they've got the first episode of that anime, the Final Fantasy 15 Brotherhood, which is a prequel to the Final Fantasy 15 game, and they had the first episode out right now. And I'll probably do reviews of these products. I don't know for the miniseries, the anime miniseries, if I'll do each episode at a time, or if I'll review the miniseries as a whole. I think I'm just going to review the miniseries as a whole. Maybe do like an impressions if I have time or want to of each episode for Final Fantasy Brotherhood, but I don't think so. I'll probably just review the whole thing when all the episodes are out there. Or maybe not. I might not review it at all. we'll see. And then the Justice Monsters 5 mini game, that looks kind of neat. That looks kind of cute. I don't really know like what's going on from that trailer, like how the game is played, but it looks fun. I mean, the characters in Final Fantasy 15, they seem to enjoy the game, but I guess like the Justice Monsters 5 in the game Final Fantasy 15, it's like a pinball machine, and the mobile game looks more like a mobile game. It looks different than how it is it looks different than the mini game in Final Fantasy 15. So I know that Brotherhood is a prequel to the Final Fantasy 15 game, but Kingsglaive supposedly takes place during the Final Fantasy 15 game. So I'm a little unsure, like, when Kingsglaive will end. Like, I'm hoping that it won't end at the end of Final Fantasy 15, like when the video game Final Fantasy 15 ends. I'm hoping that that's not when Kingsglaive ends, because that would be spoilers for the game, and I don't want to feel like I've played the game before the game comes out, which I'm hoping these products don't spoil the game and give it away, because that's what the game's for, you know? I'm gonna need to play it, so I'm hoping that Kingsglaive is just like a little story about how the kingdom of Lucius, I think it's called, yeah. Basically how the Kingsglaive task force or group of soldiers respond to Niflheim's invasion. I'm hoping that that's just what it's going to be about, and they have to do like a little thing, like to protect something in the game, or in the movie, excuse me. So I think those are all my thoughts on those products. So they also announced that a car is being made that is, I don't know if it's a real-life version of the Regalia, but it's a Final Fantasy 15 related car that's been created, and it'll be used for promoting the game, which I think is pretty creative and cool. It's definitely a unique way to advertise your game. Anyway, so the Platinum demo that was announced, that's another thing that's exciting to talk about. Looks cool from what they showed us. The guy that was talking about it, I think his name was Matt. Starts with a K, his last name. Matt Kishimoto, I believe that's his name. Matt Kishimoto. He's a really good public speaker, and he has great camaraderie with Greg and Tim, and so I enjoyed seeing him in the show as well, just hyping up the game. But yeah, the demo looks good. I'll probably play that. I downloaded it yesterday, so I might start playing it today. But I'll probably also do a review of that, or maybe an analysis of the gameplay. I don't know. But I'll probably do something that relates to the Platinum demo, just because it's a cool way to, get feedback. And they're really taking this seriously, like getting the feedback on this stuff. So I'm hoping that the demo is fun, and the new battle system that they put in there is good. So I'll go and check that out at some time. And I think it's also just a creative way to get feedback, or the way that they made this demo. It's Noctis's dream, and that's pretty creative, I think, because you can get different gameplay that might not be in the regular game, where you transform into animals, which that might be, I don't know, that might be an indication that for summons in the main game, you're going to be able to control them in some way, like you're able to control those animals or whatever that you transform into, but I don't know. And then you've also got a section of the Platinum demo where you can play as regular Noctis, adult Noctis, and fight the Iron Giant. So you can use some of the magic and weapons and the playable character that will be in the main game. And I'm pretty hyped to go see what that is. And how that turns out. So let's see. Next thing, the collector's editions. So I was actually thinking of getting a collector's edition for Final Fantasy 15 because I've heard Square Enix makes nice collector's editions, and this game I've been hyped for it, and I was thinking, I might purchase one of these just to see how it is. And then they announced it, and it was a really nice. They announced it, they hyped it up, and it was a great announcement. But then once they started putting the prices on them, it's not worth it. So basically, there is the Ultimate Collector's Edition, and then there's the Deluxe Edition. And the Deluxe Edition, it's really not okay, so in the Ultimate Collector's Edition, there's so much stuff that they put in there, and then there's the Deluxe Edition, which that's barely an improvement over the regular game, and then there's the regular game, and if you pre-order it, you get a DLC with it. The DLC is the Masamune sword, which is probably something that they removed from the main game to put as DLC. And then in the Deluxe Edition, they have this Kingsglaive outfit that you can use, which is kind of cool, and I'm not sure if that was part of the main game, but I think that's more of an appropriate DLC thing. And then there's some other modification you can make to the car that is part of the Deluxe Edition DLC. And I don't know if that probably should be part of the main game that was taken out to have as a DLC. There probably will be a complete edition of this game, which will include all the DLC, but I want to buy this game when it comes out, And then there's the Ultimate Collector's Edition, which has a ton of stuff. It has all the things in the Deluxe Edition. It's got, an art book, and that was really the reason why I wanted to get a collector's edition of this game, because I wanted the art book. I mean, the price on it is ridiculous, and I think they've already sold out of them. So that's not happening. Maybe I can get it on eBay. But they've got soundtracks for the game. They've got the Kingsglaive movie on DVD. Crazy packaging for this thing. They've got an action figure of Noctis. But they've got all sorts of crazy stuff for the Ultimate Collector's Edition. There's such a big difference between the Deluxe Edition and the Ultimate Collector's Edition, which is really strange. The Deluxe Edition is barely an improvement over the regular Day 1 edition. It's $30 more, and what you're getting for the extra $30 is a metal case for the game, 2 different DLCs, and a Blu-ray of the Kingsglaive movie, which you can just watch for free. So it's not worth the extra $30 at all, at least in my opinion. Like a metal case, that's like an extra $5 or $10. This thing is not worth $90 to me. They should have put at least like the soundtrack or something in this to make it the Deluxe Edition actually worth buying. But I really wish they put the art book in there. If they throw in an art book and the soundtrack in the Deluxe Edition, then I'd buy that. I'd definitely buy that. But without, not worth it. And then there's the Collector's Edition, which I think is way overpriced, and I'm not completely sold on if the 30,000 copies was a good idea. Like the limited amount of collector's editions, or of Ultimate Collector's Editions. I don't know if that was a good idea, because there's thousands of people in the auditorium, thousands of people that are watching the stream, and I don't know, it could be millions. I don't know. But this game got a ton of attention. If a person is watching the stream, then they have a little more interest in Final Fantasy 15 than the average consumer, and they're probably at least somewhat interested in buying a collector's edition or something. So if they produced a bigger supply of the Ultimate Collector's Edition, that would bring down the price, of course. But they would sell more. They would sell more of them. And if they had more, and then they dropped the price to like $120, I think that would be the maximum that I would be willing to pay for the Ultimate Collector's Edition. If they dropped it down to like $120, and then made a bunch of them, I think that would sell really well. And I mean, this is just my very misinformed economics theory because right now, since they have a limited supply of 30,000 copies of the Ultimate Collector's Edition, and there is a lot of demand for it, as we've seen, obviously, it's already sold out. That means that those collector's editions are very valuable, and that means the price is going to go up on those. Okay? So, let's say we produce more of them. You know, they're still valuable to people. You know, the fans, which there's a lot of demand for this thing, as we know. A lot of people are aware of this game and are interested. I don't know how much. But if there is the interest, which I think there might be for more Ultimate Collector's Editions, they make more, but they have more supply now, so they're less valuable because it's less rare. So the price goes down, hopefully to a more reasonable price, like $120. Then release that, more people buy them, and they make more money. You know, hopefully the profit margin, or the margin of profit by selling more of the less expensive collector's editions, is more profitable than selling all of the limited supply but more valuable versions of the collector's editions. So that's my amateur economics theory on this thing. So I'm hoping that that happens. They get more collector's editions, and they bring the price down, because that's really the only worthwhile collector's edition of this game. The deluxe edition is a joke. Anyway, the next thing I think that I should talk about, and I think it'll probably be the last thing, is the release date of the game, which is September 30th, 2016, which that sounds like a great release date to me. There was a rumor before this event that this game was going to be released on September 30th, but you know, it was just a rumor. I wanted to be surprised for this event, so I wasn't like going through all the websites, because I knew that there would be leaks, information leaks before this thing, and I didn't look for the leaks, and then I was super hyped up and excited when they announced them at this event. But before the event, this release date was a rumor. But you know, I didn't believe it when I heard the rumor, because you know, they'd been considering other release dates. Like, they were considering a summer release. They had that survey in Japan, at least. Yeah, I think it was only in Japan, where they were asking if you would rather buy Persona 5 or Final Fantasy 15. So, you know, that was a release date that was being considered. But then apparently this was also one of those. So, you know, nothing is confirmed until it's confirmed, and now it's confirmed, and I think this is the way to go. Why I like this release date is because the development team has stated they're done with at least their first draft of the game, of Final Fantasy 15. So that would mean that they've got many months to just fine-tune the game, you know, balance the systems, change around areas to make them more engaging, you know, debug. They've got time to do that, which is really important for a game. Not every game has that, you know? Not every game has that luxury of this amount of time to fine-tune it and to polish it. But I think it's really important, and I'm hoping that it'll be time well spent. I'm hoping that they actually do have as much of the game done as they're saying, because I've been a little suspicious of if the development team is as together as they say they are. You know, they'll say that we have a release date set within the company, but we aren't able to release it to the public yet. I don't really understand that, though, because if you have the release date, like, I don't think that you need a release date for your release date, because the only people that are going to be excited for the release date of the release date are the fans who follow the game, and they're already going to buy the game anyway, so you might as well just give them the release date, you know? And the general public, they're not going to care about a release date of the release date. They only care about the release date. So if there's just the release date, even if it's a rough one, they'll see it, and then they'll associate it with the trailer, and then maybe when that time comes around or they see an image or something of the game, then they'll maybe remember subconsciously or consciously that, oh yeah, this game is coming out in a couple of months, or this game is coming out at the end of the year. I should keep my eyes open and maybe check this out if it pops up somewhere. So that's what a release date. That's how it makes sense to me. The only reason that I see for why they wouldn't announce the release date is if they didn't actually have one. Or they didn't really know. They weren't really confident with it. So that's kind of the thing that's making me skeptical, or the thing that made me skeptical. And also, like, they say, okay, we're gonna have an event in March, and then they have it on March 30th, which is the second to last day of the month. They basically put the event at the last possible day. They pushed it to pretty much as far as they possibly could and still have it be in March. Maybe they needed that time, and maybe they weren't as far ahead as they said, and they needed those extra days to get their stuff done. I don't know, this might not be a legitimate concern, but, I just have a little bit of doubts about Final Fantasy 15 being as far along as they say it is. And I'm hoping that they do, in fact, have a first draft of the game done, and I'm hoping that, like, these other products like the Justice Monsters 5 and the movie and the anime, those aren't slowing down the production of the actual video game. One more thing that I want to talk about before wrapping this up is at the end of one of the trailers, I think the airship for this game is gonna be the car. I think it's called the Regalia. I think that's the name of the car. But basically, the car can fly, which is kind of neat. I don't really know how I feel about it. I guess my first impressions are that it looks fine. It's kind of funny. They probably get an upgrade at some stage in the game. You do some side quest at some point in the game, and then you can fly around with the car. I mean, once you get the flight, then you probably won't be driving around as much, but if you get the flying car later in the game, then you probably won't need to be driving, and you'll have more, there'll be a bigger area of the map that you've discovered, and flying will be faster, and you'd want to do that anyway. So I think that makes sense to me, and I think it's fine to have the car fly at a certain point, but it has to be introduced later in the game, because then you won't need to drive the car regularly. But I think that's about it. So thanks for listening, and check out my channel, because I just uploaded a big review of Final Fantasy 13, and I've also got some other videos that are Final Fantasy related and Final Fantasy 15 related on my channel. So check that out, and you might like something there.